It may be your baby's first trip to see family over the holidays, or you might be a seasoned traveler and having to take care of a child on a trip has you stressed. Traveling with babies on airplanes can be enough to make everyone sigh in desperation. How do you overcome the difficulties of traveling and learn to enjoy both the journey and the destination? We're here with Carrie Simmons, star of Travel with Kids TV series, and this is Parent Savers, episode 29.
Faster than a speeding toddler.
Sit still for just a minute.
Can soothe boo-boos with a gentle kiss.
Would you get down from there?
Able to clean poopy bottoms in a single swipe.
Oh, what did you eat?
Turning frazzled mommies and daddies into pro-creators of peace and harmony.
Ah, quit touching me.
It's Parent Savers, empowering new parents everywhere.
Welcome to Parent Savers, broadcasting from the Birth Education Center of San Diego. I am your host, Casey Wilt. Parent Savers is all about helping new parents from the baby years to the toddler years. So download the free app, sign up for the free newsletter, like us on Facebook, or send us an email or call our hotline. This is your show, and we want you to be involved. We have amazing experts at our fingertips, so shoot us a line and we'll get your questions answered. We also have a very new option of joining our Parent Savers Club, and it's where you can download the archived episodes and get exclusive content and more. So I am a new parent myself. My son Carson is almost 23 months old, and I'm joined by three new parents here in the studio.
Hi, my name is Owen. I own a video marketing company in Oceanside. I'm 32-ish. I'm 32 going on 25. I have three boys. Kanan 5, Jameson is 16 months, and Benjamin is 5 months old.
My name is John O'Reilly. I am a 38-year-old writer, live here in San Diego, and I have three boys as well, 5, 3, and 1.
My name is Michelle Franklin. I am 36. I have one daughter who is also one. Her name is Dylan.
Before we begin today's show, here's Detective Damian Jackson with some great tips on protecting your children.
Hey Parent Savers, this is Detective Damian Jackson with the Escondido Police Department's Family Protection Unit and the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force here in San Diego, California. As part of the Escondido Police Department's ongoing series of community outreach education to help families enhance their personal safety, I'm here today to talk to you about GPS programming. Criminals are constantly looking for those easy opportunities these days to take your property and turn it for a quick profit on the street. As new parents, you're probably on the go a lot, and with today's technology, getting where you need to be is as simple as tapping an address into your GPS device and off you go, getting to your next destination easily and efficiently. However, one of the easiest items to spot, steal, and quickly sell is that GPS device sitting on your dashboard or center console for all to see. It doesn't matter to that criminal what the best route to SeaWorld might be or where the closest sushi spot is, but the address you've programmed in the home category is like giving a criminal a treasure map and the X is right on top of your house. My tip for the day: don't make home your actual home. I'd be willing to bet there's not one of you out there listening that doesn't know how to get from your house to the grocery store, or from the grocery store back to your house. So for an added layer of security and protection for you and your family, instead of using your actual home address, use the grocery store as your starting and finishing point on your GPS device when using it to plot out your trips. That way, if someone relieves you of your GPS device without your permission, you will only be giving them directions to the produce section and not to your family's castle. For more information on how you can keep your family safe, visit us on Facebook or Twitter at /Escondido Police. With the Escondido Police Department and the San Diego Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, I'm Detective Damian Jackson, reminding you to keep your family safe and smart.
Well, I'm so excited about today's show. If you know me, you know travel is near and dear to my heart. So figuring out with kids can add an element of difficulty. So we have Carrie Simmons with us, whose family is the star of the TV show Travel with Kids, which I'm excited to tune in and watch it. And she's here to help us turn the difficulty into an incredible journey. So briefly, Carrie, tell me about what Travel with Kids is and how did you get started?
Travel with Kids is a television show. It's kind of a documentary meets adventure travel reality show on traveling with your kids. And it airs on PBS and in 30 other countries internationally. And how we got started, well, my husband and I were big travelers pre-kids. Mm-hmm. And we had backpacked around the world, taken a year off, done all of those type of fun travel memories. And when we had our first child, everyone said, now you have to stop traveling.
Yep, I've heard that.
And we said, well, why would we stop traveling? We want to expose our kids to this, this amazing adventure and this amazing kind of absorption of the world. So when Nathan, our oldest one, was 10 months old, we took him on his first big journey, and we took him to Ireland, Spain, and Morocco. And when we got back, we got a lot of questions that didn't even dawn on us, like, how did you get diapers? How did you get baby food? Well, all these people have babies in Spain and Morocco, so we just got it the same way they get it. But it never dawned on us that people would have questions like that. So we made our first show in Puerto Rico a year later, based on just answering questions on how to travel with babies and toddlers, like how do you deal with naps, where do you change diapers, things like that. So it was very focused on the tips, the kind of nitty-gritty of traveling with a baby. Now we have a 12 and 10-year-old, so the show still offers some of that kind of parental guidance, but a lot of it, the focus of the show is now on the boys and how they're experiencing destinations, what in each destination is fun for kids.
So how does a parent get over their fear of traveling with their kids, messing up schedules, that sort of thing, sleeping in a foreign place?
A lot's going to change when you're on the road. You got to put that out there right away. You got to be flexible with some of the schedule stuff. But as long as you kind of keep the same routines that you would at home, even if they're sleeping in a bed that's not theirs, if you're doing the same things, you're reading the story, you're singing the same song, keeping those same routines in place, it's going to be much more comforting to them. Also, I would say getting on the schedule of the place you're in versus that's the jet lag thing. Try and get on the schedule of the place you're in.
So, like, if you're flying from California to New Jersey and you've got a 3-hour time difference, my child naps at noon. Do I try to get him to nap at noon in New Jersey, or do I try to push it back 3 hours and he's napping at 3 in New Jersey time?
Right. I would try and get him on the schedule. That first day might be a little bit more miserable for you, but it's going to make the rest of the time there better, if that makes sense.
No, well, I wonder about that sometimes because I feel like, okay, if I get him on a light nap and then he sleeps late or he goes to bed late, that means I can take him out, if I'm in Spain, going out to dinner late and bringing my child along.
Right. And you got to look at the culture too, because in Spain more people do that. You'll see kids out at midnight on the plaza strolling around. So, you don't want your child to miss out on that stuff.
Or you're back in the hotel room with your kid in a
like 8 and you're like, oh,
what am I going to do?
But I think that's a lot of child-centered parenting. With our kids, they have schedules and naps and things like that, but we also, we don't want to be legalistic about it too and expose them to new things, even if it's local. It's like, hey, friends invited us out to go see a live musician at a coffee shop. We want to expose the kids to that, not be like, oh, well, he has nap time or he has bedtime at that. So, a lot of the things that you'd mentioned kind of assumes there's a child unfriendliness about any non-American place. You know what I mean? Oh, Spain, did they, did they have baby food there in Spain? Because I hear that they hate children in Spain. What do you see a lot of that happening, or what are some tips that you have to I don't know, help parents know what resources to look at? I mean, I went to Europe, and the grocery store system there is not the same as it is here. There's not, a major shopping chain at every red light. You know what I mean? So what tips do you have for parents to help them get acclimated to the area they're going?
Right. Well, it's definitely a different experience in the grocery store, so we've seen that as well. I have actually found that, for the most part, countries outside of the United States are more receptive to having children around, especially like restaurants and places where you just don't take kids here.
Outside the U.S., you're saying it's a little more...
Yes. Like Europe is way more open to having kids in fancier restaurants or in restaurants later where you wouldn't necessarily find that in the United States. You might get those looks like, why do you have your kid at this restaurant?
Yeah.
As far as finding out kind of what the culture's like before you get there, I think guidebooks we always promote guidebooks. Even if it's a guidebook aimed at adults, you'll get the feel for the destination, or finding parenting sites that are in that specific place that you're going. There, every place has parenting sites or mom sites or family-friendly sites, that type of stuff.
Right.
So just looking, searching those on Google, that definitely helps with, trying to figure out what it's going to be like for your child when you're there. And it also will give you places to look for special things that are fun for kids in that community.
I think that's an important one too, fun for kids, because we travel twice a year at a minimum to Utah, where my family lives. And we drive. You had mentioned, Casey, about airplanes, and I'm like, what? You take kids on an airplane? I'm curious, how do you make we have a pretty decent system for the kids in the car, you know what I mean? And that is, we leave at 8 o'clock at night. So they sleep most of the way. What tips, Carrie, might you have for making the actual nuts and bolts of traveling more enjoyable? I'm especially interested in the airplane one. I can't imagine my 16-month-old. What, do you have to pay for a ticket at 2 years old?
At 2.
Okay, so I have no idea how you keep a 2-year-old in an airplane for an hour to Utah, much less 5 hours across the country.
I know, we're going to New Jersey at Christmas time, and we have to keep Carson. But he's also done about 20 flights at this point.
Really?
Yeah. So anyways, Carrie, what do you have to say about that?
I was going to say is the earlier you acclimatize them to traveling, the better the travelers they are. So a lot of people say, I'm going to wait until, they can remember it. I'm going to wait until they'll appreciate some sort of museum or cultural activity, but the longer you wait, the harder it is for them to travel.
We took Carson when he was 4 months to Italy, and it was one of those things that was so frightening because my husband and I were huge travelers before, international travelers, living internationally and everything. And we had an opportunity to go to Italy, and people were like, are you crazy? Your baby's 4 months old. And I kept repeating myself, this is the best time, this is the best time, this is the best time, even though if I didn't agree with it. And now looking back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have gone at 3 months somewhere, I should have gone at 4 months somewhere,
Right.
I should have gone at 5 months somewhere.
It actually is the best time because they're the most portable, and you can keep them on their schedules while they're sitting in your lap.
Well, and I was worried because he was always been a rough baby, and surprisingly, because there's so much going on and so much activity and so much interaction with everybody on the plane that he forgot he had his stomach hurt, or he forgot because he was being so social. But like Owen said, what are some tips for airplanes or cars or trains that you have?
Well, the first thing that I always say is remember it's only 1 hour, it's only 4 hours, it's only 8 hours out of your life. So worst case scenario, your kid cries the whole time, which I, by the way, have never been on a flight where a kid cried the whole time. That's always the parent's number one concern. And in all our traveling, I've never been on a flight where a kid actually cried the whole time.
That's interesting because I think that goes back to, America as the kid-unfriendly place. Like that's what the media kind of thrusts on us is this is what it's like if you bring your kid on plane or you bring your kid in this restaurant, so don't do it.
Or you get on an airplane and you see a baby and they go, oh great, I gotta sit next to the baby.
I like the worst case scenario part.
You're feeling like people are looking at you like, oh, don't be sitting next to me,
Yeah.
So I think the number one thing that I always say is relax. Because if you're not relaxed, the kid's not going to relax. So you just got to be relaxed. You got to take it with some sense of humor. If the kid's starting to cry, have the tools with you.
What are some tools you recommend?
She says Benadryl. That's the first tool.
That was actually
I know. I was like, how young can you give kids melatonin?
I have them, depending on the age, I have the child pack a bag with me so that they know what's going to be on the plane. They can't be telling me, oh, you left this at home or you left that at home. I do bring a special blankie, special toy, but make sure it's one that's replaceable because things do get lost on the road.
And small.
So that, just end a trip right there if the first day you bring something that is the number one thing in your child's life and you lose it. So either have two of them with you, something that's a backup, but then I also make sure that they pack with me. And we pack small and quiet. You want to think about other passengers. You don't want your kid hitting the same button that's making an annoying sound for the entire flight. Then you will.
Right.
And creative, like clay is a great thing for airplanes. The kid can remold it and remold it. It's like a natural resource type thing. It's just keep reinventing itself. Wiki sticks are the same way. Kids can play with them the whole thing.
What's a wiki stick?
Those waxy kind of sticks, or pipe cleaners are another good one.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Like, it's not something where it's a coloring page and they're done.
Yeah.
Constantly replay with it in a new way.
Do you buy things for the passengers around you, like lollipops? Or...
I heard about someone doing that.
I
I heard about someone doing
That's been
that.
a good idea with my 12-year-old, I think.
Well, I heard about someone giving little bottles of alcohol to the passengers around them.
Oh, no.
And part of me likes that idea, but then the other part of me goes, no, like exactly what you said earlier is that America's not baby friendly. So part of me was like, just deal with it, you know?
Right. I mean, making a joke right off the bat isn't a bad idea. Making a joke of it, or putting it out so it's not the elephant in the room. But I don't know about buying everyone else.
Yeah.
I think that also, there is this perception that America is, not as friendly, but I think that individual people are usually pretty understanding. I know that when I went to Las Vegas with my daughter, I had to fly back on my own. I was really overwhelmed with all this gear I had to carry around with me, but everyone was really nice. Strangers were helping me get my stuff together and all of that. So I think that even though there's the perception that America as a whole is maybe not friendly, I think that individual people are usually pretty
I think so
understanding.
too, because we're a real family oriented, center right kind of country, and again, I think that goes back to the media, and you watch the movies, and it's the kid that's screaming, and these parents are all disheveled, and dad's drunk, and whatnot, and we don't see that in real life. My wife and I, we just celebrated our 3rd anniversary, and so we took Benjamin was 4 months old, and we took him to kind of like a nicer restaurant down in downtown Oceanside, and I'm sitting there going to this really nice restaurant with a dress code, with a a carrier in my arm, and I'm trying not to knock over champagne glasses and things like this, and we felt stares. But after a while, we thought, I think that's really in our own minds. I really think what they're looking at is our cute little baby.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so
I
think that's a good thing to be conscious of, is just telling yourself, hey, they're staring, but I think that they're grandparents, and they're aunts, and they're cousins, and they like babies like the rest of us.
Yes.
Seems like also a good tip then is if you're not traveling with kids, to be friendly to other people with kids.
That's a great point.
And hope that it gets paid forward when you're traveling.
Yes.
I have found that most individuals are way willing to help, and there's always at least a few that are around that have traveled with their kids or their grandkids, or and they're very open to helping you with things, or trying to get things for you, carry things off the plane for you. So Americans are very helpful.
Great. When we come back, we'll talk about tips and tricks to make the destination fun, educational, and memorable, as well as what to pack. So we'll be right back. We're back with Carrie Simmons from Travel with Kids TV series, and we're asking her about how to travel with kids. So what do you pack? You said you came back from your big trip and everyone asks you about diapers and food and stuff. So do you pack toys or diapers or treats for the airplane? Or
we just got a tweet over here. I'm over here on Twitter, and we just got a tweet in from Mommy Life that says there is no such thing as overpacking when traveling with a baby. So I'd be interested in knowing what you do pack. And if you're out there listening and want to join the conversation, follow us on Twitter at the #parenting or #parentsavers. So what do you think? What do you pack?
Oh, I say least as possible, because you've got a kid, you've got a stroller, you've got a pack and play. Who has room for clothes? Really?
Well, I see, and I pack a lot. Basically, I have my suitcase, and I will put as much stuff in there as I can. I think we brought way too much clothes, way too many diapers, way too many toys, all that stuff. But if I were on
if you needed it, you had it.
Exactly. So as much as my suitcase will hold, I stick it all in there.
Well, I don't want to pay the overage fees on the bags, though,
Yeah,
either. So I
sure.
think that's kind of my top limit.
Diapers aren't heavy.
Yeah, but you can always buy those wherever you're going. I mean, if we're going somewhere, like if it's to a relative's house or somewhere where we know, we'll plan on being able to do laundry there, just so we don't overpack, because otherwise you got to carry all that stuff around.
With the diapers and the baby food, things like that, I'll pack just enough to get me to the grocery store where we're going to stock up on the next thing. I don't want to overload our bags, especially with the overcharges on restrictions on luggage nowadays. I do that 2 days worth of clothes and diapers, and especially if we're going to like a tropical place, I pack their swimsuits all in a carry-on in case the luggage gets lost, which we've had happen before, because the last thing you want to do is get there and have to go re-buy all the stuff that you're waiting for in the luggage.
And all you want to do is throw them in the water because they're cranky.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and the bathing suits especially, because that's a hard item to go out and just replace.
And isn't the value of the dollar, especially if you're going overseas, you're going to get a little more bang for your buck as opposed to taking all your dollars?
It depends on where you go, really.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
that was the last time I traveled overseas. So.
Nowadays, 1985. Nowadays, with our dollar decreasing.
Well, and you also, if there's certain size, like bathing suits, I was saying, is you don't want to have to go size those while you're, looking around a resort town trying to find that stuff. And if you're in a resort town, it's going to be more expensive. That type of stuff. We also, Nathan was just talking about as far as packing to take advantage of space. Nathan?
My mom, I don't know where she came up with this, but she takes our clothes and rolls them, like folds them up, and then rolls them really tight.
Yeah.
So it's small and compressed as she can possibly get it, and tapes it.
Ah.
And then I also actually date it, but that's because we're filming a television show. But I wouldn't be opposed to doing that even if we weren't, because then I can just pull a roll out for that date and kind of toss it at the kids.
That's
and not
prepared.
have to think about what shirt is going to go with what and how are we going to, So that's an easy way to just pre-plan what you're going to wear and just make it easier when you get there. It takes more organization ahead of time, but I'm always for making it easy while you're there. Combination of healthy and sugar treats. We try and do the healthy treats first and reserve, just like technology, we reserve the sugar for the end. When you have nothing left in you.
Here's a lollipop, take it.
Yeah.
Right? And actually lollipops are a great one for landings on airplanes because they have to suck on the lollipop. Gum, obviously, for the landings on the airplanes, or for babies, you want to hold off on feeding them until you're landing so that their ears can clear easier. And then travel size games, always try and use magnetics. There's a lot of magnetic games out there so the pieces aren't falling all over the car or under the plane seat.
Yeah. So once you get to your destination, how can you find kid-friendly activities for the whole family to do? Like I went to Las Vegas last month, and it's not super kid friendly. So,
but also conversely, like we go to Utah, and there's this like family fun center, and there's nothing for us to do there. Like we're just kind of like escorting the kids around for 8 hours, and then it's like,
now where's the balance in that, Carrie?
Yeah.
I always try and find balance, and that's exactly right. You want to find balance. You don't want it to be all kid-oriented, and you don't want it to be all adult-oriented.
Right.
So if you're going to a Travel with Kids destination, you can look at travelwithkids.tv. We have lots of information on what activities we've done in the locations that are balanced activities. But even a lot of adult activities I find can be made family friendly. Well, going to the Louvre, even as an adult, is an overwhelming ask. It's a neat place to go, and it's amazing, and the things you're seeing, but it's just huge. What I did is I went on the website, and most museums have a website where you can go and see all the different exhibits, or at least some of their more popular exhibits. And I printed pictures of those, and then before we went into the Louvre, I handed each kid 5 pictures from the museum, and they went on a scavenger hunt trying to find those exhibits. And it actually worked out well for us because it got the guards into it. They had guards running, trying to find the different stuff. Some of the stuff was so obscure, the guards were like perplexed. They were so into it, and they ended up taking them in front of the ropes in the Mona Lisa. It really engaged the guards as well.
Did you find those things through guidebooks and stuff? The ways to the ways to make those questions up for the kids?
Right. So just in my own reading about the destination, about the castle we're visiting or whatever, I kind of try and think about it from a kid's perspective. What would be interesting about that from a kid's perspective? But most places, even just, kind of making up a story or just exploring it with them That's all kids want. They want to be engaged with their parents.
It sounds like one of the big tips is you plan so that everything can go well, but then be ready to throw the plans out the window and enjoy the moment.
Right, exactly.
That's really similar to parenting.
Well, thank you so much, Carrie Simmons, for helping us learn about traveling with kids. If you want more information on today's show, go to our episodes page on our website or visit travelwithkids.tv. Our conversation will continue with Carrie after the show for our Parent Savers Club members, so see our website to sign up. We have a question for our sleep expert, Joanna Clark. This is from our Facebook page. And Amy Ronaldo writes, my 10-month-old is a pretty good night sleeper, but naps are hit and miss. Some days I get 2 naps of 1 hour plus, and some days it's 2 naps for 30 to 40 minutes. How can I create more consistent naps? And what nap schedule should I expect from her at this age?
Hi, this is Joanna Clark of blissfulbabysleepcoaching.com. And Amy had a question about her 10-month-old. So in this age group, babies are sleeping between 3 and 3.5 hours of daytime sleep spread between 2 and 3 naps a day. And the minimum restorative nap for this age group is about 45 minutes. Sometimes these naps will be short, which she is experiencing, but it's always a great idea if you could try to comfort the baby back to sleep to see if you can continue with the sleep cycle and get a total of 45 minutes of sleep combined for one of those naps. And also, watching the wake windows of your child will really help you better understand when your child is most ready to sleep so that it's not hard to get them to sleep. So children at around 10 months of age are really only awake between 2.5 to 3 hours in their wake cycle. So in other words, if they wake up at 7 in the morning from being asleep all night, by 9:30 in the morning, that child will most likely be ready for their first morning nap. And when they wake up from that morning nap, you want to take a look at the clock and know that 2.5 to 3 hours from the point of waking, they will start showing sleepy signs and be ready for that next sleep cycle. So it's always super important for families to watch both the wakefulness window as well as the sleep window when you can tell that melatonin, which is the drowsy hormone, is showing up and showing sleepy signs for your child and maximizing the opportunity to get your child into a dimly lit room to show those sleepy signs and help comfort them to sleep for a more consolidated nap. Hope that helps, and good luck.
That wraps up today's episode. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question for our expert about today's show or the topics we discuss, call our Parent Savers hotline at 619-866-4775 or send us an email through our website, parentsavers.com, or Facebook page, and we'll answer your question in an upcoming episode. Don't forget to tune in to Behind the Scenes Parent Savers Club to keep listening. Thanks for listening to Parent Savers, empowering new parents everywhere.
This has been a New Mommy Media production. The information and material contained in this episode are presented for educational purposes only. Statements and opinions expressed in this episode are not necessarily those of New Mommy Media and should not be considered facts. While such information and materials are believed to be accurate, it is not intended to replace or substitute for professional medical advice or care, and should not be used for diagnosing or treating healthcare problem or disease or prescribing any medication. If you have questions or concerns regarding your physical or mental health or the health of your baby, please seek assistance from a qualified healthcare provider.
Hey mamas, don't forget to check out Mighty Moms. It's our online community built for new moms just like you. Not only can you connect with other moms, but you can also join us backstage for special mom-only online events. And you'll also be notified when we're recording so you can join us as a special guest. Visit our website, newmommymedia.com, and click on the Mighty Moms banner. It's free. That's newmommymedia.com. See you there.